Hey guys, second video for today. What I need you to look at is the Odyssey and outline. Go ahead and pull that out. You print it off, pull it on your smartphone on an extra tab, whatever you want to do. Just have it in front of you because we are going to read through this together. Like I mentioned, a lot of the Odyssey is told in flashback, so we need to make sure that we are caught up by the time we pick up on book 9, because that's where we're going to start with the Cyclops. So we're going to skip books 1 through 8 because we can really just cover all of that information with summary instead of having to read all of it. The Odyssey itself is an extremely long text. We will not be reading all of it. We'll be moving around, doing different stories just so we have a story that we can follow, but we're not going to read all of it. You can teach this class in a year-long course of just studying the Odyssey, and you'll have enough time to do it. So, look at this document we're going to read together. If you want to take notes on it, that is fine. If you want to note down what I say to you, that is also fine. But please make sure that you are going through this text with me. So the first 4 books of the Odyssey largely focus on Telemachus, the son of Odysseus. Remember I mentioned he's a kid once Odysseus leaves to go to fight in the Trojan War, and so whenever he's trying to return home, Telemachus is a grown man. So book number 1, this is where our story begins. Homer invokes the muse. Homer is our author. He's this blind poet that created this story of the Odyssey. He invokes the muse. Remember we talked about the muse, kind of these patrons of the arts. He begins his story with Odysseus trapped on the island of Calypso, a nymph who wants to take Odysseus as her lover. So that's where the story is picking up. The Odyssey starts right in the middle of Odysseus' story. So he is on Calypso's island, and Calypso is trying to make him fall in love with her. She's pretty much keeping him there, basically against his will. A little bit he's into it, but basically against his will. And so he is on this island. We do not know how he got there. We know he was fighting in the Trojan War, so we do not know what has happened in between Trojan War and Calypso's island. All of this blank in the middle is going to be filled in with the rest of the story. So, he's on Calypso's island. Athena talks Zeus into pulling strings to set Odysseus free. Remember, Athena is our goddess of wisdom. She's one of the patron goddesses of Odysseus. Then Athena disguises herself to visit Odysseus' son Telemachus in Ithaca. Ithaca is where Odysseus is from. There she finds out that Odysseus' house is overrun by greedy suitors who have infested the place. They are trying to woo Penelope, Odysseus' wife. Athena advises Telemachus to call a council and then travel to nearby islands and seek news of Odysseus' whereabouts. Remember I mentioned that there are suitors, over hundreds of them, trying to woo Penelope so that they could be king of Ithaca. So they are trying to take Odysseus' wife so that they can kind of step into Odysseus' role because they all believe that Odysseus has died, either in war or on his journey home. So Athena travels to Telemachus, Odysseus' son, and says, go try to find out where your father is. She's basically giving him a hint. He's alive, so you need to go find him. So that is book 1. Book 2. Telemachus calls the council and takes the speaker's staff. He denounces the suitors, but Antinous blames Penelope for her delaying tactics. The gods send an omen of fighting eagles, which a soothsayer claims indicates that Odysseus will soon come home. Eurymachus accuses this prophet of being bribed by Telemachus. He states the suitors won't leave until Penelope picks one. Telemachus proposes that he shall be given a ship and a crew. He will sail out to seek news. If Odysseus is dead, Penelope will be available for marriage after the funeral is held. So all the suitors are getting impatient. They're basically saying, we need to marry Penelope now. Stop stalling. And Telemachus says, let me go try to find my father. Let me go try to get some news. And if it is proclaimed that he's dead, you guys can marry my mom. So he's saying, let's make a deal. And the suitors will agree to him. Book number 3. Telemachus sails to King Nestor at Pylos, who tells him stories of the Trojan War and when Odysseus was last seen. Telemachus takes a chariot to travel to Sparta to speak with Menelaus and find further clues. Remember Menelaus, King Menelaus of Sparta. He is this person who married Helen. Helen was kidnapped by Paris. So he goes to talk to Menelaus. Menelaus is friends with Odysseus. Menelaus has seen him recently, but doesn't know where he is. Book number 4, Telemachus visits King Menelaus. The king weeps because Telemachus resembles Odysseus so much, reminding Menelaus of his lost friend. He and Queen Helen tell more stories of Odysseus' exploits. Meanwhile, at Ithaca, the suitors are arranging to murder Telemachus so he won't be able to inherit the throne. So Telemachus is moving around. He's talking to King Menelaus, who now has his wife back because the Greeks won the Trojan War. So Helen's returned safe to him. And Menelaus is showing some emotion because he misses Odysseus. Odysseus is his friend. And meanwhile, in this book, we also find out that the suitors are back home saying, we finna kill this kid whenever he comes home. So they're all planning to murder Telemachus when he returns. Why might they be planning to do that? because Telemachus is set to inherit the throne. Book number 5. The god Hermes, our messenger god, sent by Zeus in Book 1, arrives on Calypso's island, where she has trapped Odysseus. He finds Odysseus weeping on the beach, yearning for his family, and he orders Calypso to release him. Odysseus builds a raft from palm trees and sets sail. Poseidon spots Odysseus and raises sea storms to shipwreck him. So, Hermes, sent by Zeus, goes to Calypso's island and says, "Girl, you gotta let him go. He's been here for way too long. He has to go home." And so she says, okay, lets him go. Odysseus gets on a raft and is sailing away. Poseidon's still pissed off at him and shipwrecks him. Book 6 through 8. Odysseus washes ashore among the court of the Phaeacians. The princess finds him, and he is treated to a banquet where he retells the story of how he came to this situation, filling in the details of his journey after he left King Menelaus after they fought in the Trojan War. So, basically, our structure for the Odyssey, and I will post a document too that kind of outlines this a little bit more specifically for you as well. The story picks up. We know that Odysseus is on Calypso's island. Like I mentioned before, we have no idea how he got there. He fought in the Trojan War, they won, and then he set sail to go home. But now we know he's on Calypso's island. So what happened in between there? How did he end up there? What Book 9 is going to pick up on is Odysseus is sitting in front of the court of the Phaeacians where he is washed up after Calypso let him go. And he is saying, okay guys, I've been through a lot. Let me tell you what happened. And he is going to walk us through everything that has happened to him from when he left Troy to when he is on Calypso's island. And that is what the rest of the Odyssey is going to talk about. So our first few stories that we will read kind of outlines what happened to him, what monsters he faced, what obstacles he faced, what kind of warnings he got. And then once he gets up to Calypso's island, then we will see what happens after that, once he gets headed home to Ithaca from the court of the Phaeacians. Okay? Structure of the Odyssey, all over the place. Super complicated. I hope this video kind of made you see it a little bit more concretely. I will post a document. I understand there are probably going to be a lot of questions about this. That's why we're going to have the virtual office hours on Google Hangout. And I'll post some more information about what that will look like. So, if you have any questions, before we do that, go ahead and message me on Remind or Instagram so that I can get those questions answered. Thanks, guys.